everybody can try to find a seat. Let's try to leave it first. That's fine.
I'm glad to be seen. Glad to be seen.
Yes, thank you.
We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order, if everybody can stand.
Thank you.
Please.
Don't worry about that.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening to everybody. All right, so we actually have a quorum, and for the two people on my board that are not here, I did email them the minutes, and I did get their approval. So if I can get a motion to approve the minutes to vote. Second. All right, let's go ahead and introduce ourselves. We have a lot of new people here. Jim?
Want me to start off?
Yep.
Jim Lyons from Joppa Magnolia Volunteers. We still have Wednesday night bingos, just to remind you all. And I really represent the Glory of the Moon section of Harford County up District B from the Jerusalem Road crowd.
Welcome aboard, sir.
So,
Welcome back.
I can't follow that. I'm Jackson Robinson, I co-chair of the Edgewood Joppa Edgewood Community Advisory Board, and I'm an Edgewood resident.
I'm Paula Mullis, I'm your chair.
Melissa DeRisca, Edgewood.
Bob Herzog.
And also our secretary.
Thank you.
where is the school?
I think she was away and she won't be back, I think, until late last night, so she wasn't sure she would make it late night. And Adam is on vacation.
Right.
Okay, so we will then to Captain McDougal, you're up.
All right. Good evening, everybody. How are you doing? So I'm going to go over the community crime report, and we're comparing April 30th through May 31st. We're comparing 2025 to 2026. I always talk about the top 3 calls for service. Last year they were tech on subjects, suspicious incidents, and number 3 was disturbances calls. This year, number 1 and 2 are the same, and number 3 is animal complaints. Our total calls for service last year during this time were 3,484, and this year during that time was 3,259, so a 6% decrease in total calls for service. Our crashes, we had 35 in Edgewood Joppa last year during that 30-day period, and we had 48 crashes this year, so that was an increase. Of those 48 crashes, 3 of them were injury crashes. 12 of them were damage to the vehicle that warranted a full police report, and the other ones were minor, parking lot fender benders, information exchange type of crashes. Our serious Part 1 crimes, 0 homicides, rapes were 1 and 1, robberies were 5 last year, 1 this year, assaults 9 last year, 13 this year. Of those 13 assaults, 10 of them were domestic violence assaults, so assaults in the home between family or cohabitants. Burglaries 5 and 5, no change. Thefts 22 last year, 30 this year. We had a 13th of May. Anybody here lives in Windsor Valley? We had 13 unlocked vehicles that were rummaged through 2 juveniles and stole several things. So a lot of the thefts here are from that incident from that one night. It was 13 at one time. Additionally, while I'm talking about thefts, I want to mention we've seen, and I've talked about this in this room before, Cadillac converter thefts. They kind of go like this, right? And we're having a rise regionally in the area. We've had a few commercial box trucks hit up and down the 40-95 corridor. They target mostly those high, like the Ford F-Series, 250, 350, 450, the big ones. But they also, if you have a Prius, Honda CR-Vs, those are also 2 highly sought out vehicles. So if you have a Prius or a Honda CR-V, You may want to consider some mitigating measures. Stenciling. The Sheriff's Office Community Policing Unit offers stenciling for your catalytic converter. They also sell aftermarket attachments you put on the bottom of your car to make it more difficult for thieves to get to your catalytic converters. Auto theft, 7 last year, 10 this year, and they're mostly, as I talked about before, Hyundais and Kias. We see that frequently, juveniles stealing those 2 type of cars. Overdoses, we've had 0 non-fatal and 0 fatal overdoses in Edgewood, Joppatowne for that 30-day period, which is good. I always talk about the school bus violations. Last year we had 704 for that 30-day period. Actually, I'm sorry, this is for all of May, not just that 30-day period. So last year in May, 704, this year 628. It's a decrease. We've seen larger decreases in other months. That was a smaller number. We'd like to see that decrease more than that, unfortunately. 628 last month. And that is all I have for the community crime report.
How much is that fine?
I'm sorry?
The school bus pays.
Yeah, it doubles if it's it's like $250, I believe, with the automatic reader, and $500 if it's in person by a law enforcement officer. Those are rough numbers. Don't hold me to it. It's close. Yes, ma'am.
They're $250 a pop for the camera.
Yeah.
So the bill is sent to the person
Yes.
in the mail. If the person says, I'm not paying that, what happens?
They get a flag on their license. It goes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just
There's-
wondering if there's a consequence.
There is.
Okay.
They had the opportunity to go to court too and argue that they weren't there's a lot of things they could go to court and discuss. They didn't violate the stop sign, and they could bring their evidence, and we have obviously the cameras. And
Okay, but if they choose to ignore the whole thing, then they
There's-
do at least get a flag.
there's a follow through with the MDA.
Okay.
Do you guys keep data on drivers that are uninsured? Because I noticed, I've seen a couple of hit and runs that just hit and keep going.
I'm sure we do have. I don't have that tonight.
Okay, well, I just wondered, did you guys keep data on that?
Yeah, a lot of what we've been seeing, and I discussed it with the walk into the room. A lot of Virginia plates. People are getting these bogus Virginia plates on their cars, and they're mostly uninsured, unregistered vehicles. So we are targeting those specifically because of the problem we're having with those. But yes, and if there's a crash involving an uninsured vehicle, they are cited to the full degree on all the.
Is there a law coming in run that they're going to try to exclude drivers from having those Virginia tags or something?
There's a crackdown statewide on trying to get a hold of that. Yeah, it's a big problem, not just here in Harford County, across the whole state.
Right.
I have a question for a resident that's not here. She's a senior, and her car has been stolen repeatedly in my neighborhood. Do you have clubs that you guys give out?
We've had thousands of them we gave out. Yes, and she contacts who is what make and model is it?
Don't hold me to it. I think it's a Nissan.
Oh, Nissan. Okay.
Yeah.
Have her reach out to our community policing. Community policing at harfordsheriff.org. If we have any left, we'll get them to her.
Thank you.
Sir.
In reference to, I know it seems to be summertime, kids are gonna be out. But in reference to like the mini bikes and the electric bikes that are up out there, no lights on them, kids running around, stuff like that. I understand probably some places they've got no chase policies when it comes down to the bikes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Have they thought about doing something similar to what's going on down in the city? Where they're going after the gas stations that are filling the bikes up?
We've had success with drones, utilizing drone enforcement for surveillance, because you're right, chasing them is unsafe. They could go places a car cannot go, and there's no reason to escalate their speed more so than they already are, because they're not going to stop for us. So what we've been trying to do is encourage the parents to parent the children with these bikes, and for us, we try to track down the parents and have good conversations with them. And the danger of these bikes, we've seen the fatal crash on 152 weeks ago. There's fatal crashes happening all across the state and region and country, really. With some of these e-bikes could go upward of 50 miles an hour. I mean, they're so fast, and they're electric, and they can go 0 to 50 very quickly as well. and they're very dangerous. And you're right, they're not outfitted with lights, they're not registered vehicles. It's and they're unexperienced drivers out there on them. They're kids.
Yeah.
It's very dangerous. I don't know who to go. There's a lot of hands up.
I'll let you go back that way first, that's where you were headed.
I had a question, and I'm probably, I'm coming more from a place of confusion than anything, but, so you mentioned the juveniles that broke into the cars over in the Windsor Valley area, and I was thinking also of the case that happened up in, by Bel Air South Parkway. The case where the juveniles broke into that lady's car. I mean, I guess I don't have a concrete time when it happened, but since they were juveniles, does that impact how you're able to process those cases, or I was curious in that regard?
Oh my gosh, yes. We can't talk to them, can't interview them. We're really handcuffed. We're handcuffed in dealing with the juvenile crime problem. And often, almost always what happens, there's really no follow. I mean, it's unfortunate. We are arresting the same kids over and over and over and over again. We just had a stolen car in Joppatowne that was involved in a drive-by shooting in Aberdeen that we recovered in Havre Grace, and we've arrested this juvenile countless times for the same thing. And he's out in the community stealing cars, shooting in houses, dumping a car to try to steal another car in Havre Grace.
Okay.
It is without a doubt one of the most frustrating things for the community and for us as well. The Juvenile Justice Reform Acts that occurred in Annapolis years ago have really made a mess of how we can address and how the follow through is with DJS, with juvenile crime.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
I have a question to address on that one. With juvenile, then why aren't we starting to hold the parents accountable? Because basically their kids is constantly graffiti.
Yeah.
They're not doing anything. Hold them accountable. Has that ever been?
We don't have no mechanism on charging out.
Yeah.
He can only do his job, that's the thing for the
legislator, that's
Yeah.
up to the state's attorney to go after the parents.
But it's the state legislature that relax things on how the police can talk to them and everything. My thing is this is how you cut the problem. When you start messing with people's money, that's what changes. My thing is, if all these nonprofits gotta be out here feeding your kid, because Michael Jackson told us so 40 years ago, if you can't have a baby, then you can't feed the baby, don't have the baby. My thing is this. Why is the state of Maryland giving earned income credit and child tax credit to these folks out here, letting their kids steal people's car? That poor lady that called in from Harford County, she had just literally paid off her car, and they stole it, destroyed it. She's out of work. So yes, they need to start holding the parents. They don't need to get no child tax credit, no nothing, if the child ain't in school and if they make it out here making crimes. Because I'm tired. I don't want to see you get hurt trying to deal with these kids. It's too much of your officers trying to deal with these kids because they have no respect for authority.
Yeah. And we've interviewed them in the stolen cars especially. They tell us that they're going to do it again. They tell us outright they're not stopping. There's going to be nothing. There's no accountability.
We did have one more question.
Somebody's point, after you go up to the young people or you have to arrest them or count them, is there anything in that law that says that you have to contact the parent?
Yes.
Is the parent contacted?
Yes, every time. Because we will contact DJS to request detainment of the juvenile. Because in some cases, if the crime's severe enough or the pattern of crime, is warrants that, and they will tell us.
The impression, and I'm listening, but the impression is given as though that your hands are completely tied and that you can't do anything at all. So it's just, for me, I just need more context to what you mean. So when people are listening to what you're saying, they understand the context of what that law actually says, opposed to we just can't call the parents, they're just running rogue. To add some context to what you mean. Release them.
Yes. So when we're investigating crimes and we know that we have evidence this juvenile committed the crime before the Juvenile Justice Reform Act, we were able to interview these juveniles. Now we're required by law to contact an attorney on behalf of the juvenile before we can even talk to them, and no attorney is going to allow them to talk to us. So we get nowhere in the investigation. If we identify one suspect and we know there's 3 others, and we believe they'll tell us, we can't even speak to them. So we're handcuffed there. We can't even develop more suspects in crime. And then when we call DJS to request that they be detained because they're wreaking havoc in communities, and we arrested them 8 times in the past 8 months. Oftentimes what we're told is release them back to the parents come get them, and then we're chasing them around the next night, doing the same thing.
So
So-
let's do,
To the
I'm sorry.
parents not being.
Yeah, let's do this, folks. We're not gonna solve that issue tonight, but if you think that it is a state legislative issue, your representative is at the back of the room. That's something you wanna raise. That's something that you wanna, you got a concern. If you got a concern.
So my only point was to add some context,
Yeah, I got
so
it.
people
Yeah.
don't understand that, you know, we're just flailing them loose and they're just on the run and we can't talk
Come out and vote for the
anybody,
first
so
of
just
choice.
context is better.
Yeah, we're doing our job in identifying them and arresting them, and then our challenge is from there. That's our job, right? We identify them, arrest them, and then the system from there.
Thank you.
That's it. All right, thank you. Enjoy your summer.
Come out and vote for one of your choice.
Captain Madhu, just so you know, it'll be the second Monday, because the first Monday's Labor Day, so it'll be the following Monday that we're here.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right, so everybody knows that we're coming up on the 250th anniversary of our country, and so we have invited Christina Potts from the Historical Society, because there's a lot of things happening here in Harford County in celebration, and she's going to tell us what they are.
Yeah, hi, everyone. Delighted to be here. David, you're going to show this on the screen, or do you want to do
this will be on the live stream.
Okay, great.
It won't be on
So
there.
I'm Chris Potts. I'm from the Historical Society of Harford County. Does everyone know where we're located?
You wanna use the podium?
Okay, sure. Can people hear me? Okay, all right. Here we go. Is there a microphone back here? No, I'll be okay. How many people know where the Historical Society is? Yay! Yeah, we are located on Main Street in Bel Air, but we are an historical society preserving and promoting the history of the entire county. And so it's a pleasure to be here tonight. I have to put a plug in for what we have right now at our Historical Society on Main Street, right next door to the ShopRite. We opened a Joppatowne exhibit, which we're very proud of. So, grant funded, telling 400 years of history, old Joppa to Joppatowne. So if you haven't seen it, please come. I know I see someone back there who donated, yeah. But the Historical Society, we have, we help people research their historical properties, their genealogy. We have over 50,000 photographs, we have textiles, and we have opened this new museum. So please come and visit us. I am here tonight in my capacity as co-chair of the America 250 celebration. I'm co-chairing this with the sesquicentennial celebration here in Harford County with Jacob Benson, who is the preservation planner of Harford County. And the county is, our job in that committee is to encourage all types of museums, municipalities, all kinds of people to find their own ways to celebrate the 250th. So I'm gonna give you a few highlights, but I also want to show you a few things that I've put in the back, and I can leave some more too, because it's an incredible turnout. This is extraordinary. Just goes to show.
Election season.
Yeah, it goes to show the commitment. What's wrong? There's a reason. Okay.
I get a good turn, don't.
Man, I mean, it's really impressive. All right, okay, so the first thing, this America 250 I put in the back. This just shows, you'll see Alfred B. Hilton on the front, who is the Harford County's only native-born Medal of Honor recipient. And then on the back, you'll see a QR code that just takes you to Harford County's calendar called Hello Harford. You go to Hello Harford and you can read about all the stuff that's going on across the county. If you want to learn more about what we're doing at the Historical Society, because We are doing lectures and programs and exhibits all surrounding the 250th anniversary, because when you think about it, we are at an extraordinary place in the country. One of the 13 colonies, Philadelphia Road, the founding fathers going up and down between. So we've got a lot of incredible history here, and people really enjoy discovering it. So I've left both of those things back there, but I'm just gonna give you a taste of what's happening coming up. So June 13th, for those of you that are interested in celebrating African American history, Juneteenth, June 19th every year, there is an annual celebration at Hosanna School Museum in Darlington. This year will be on the 13th. Also on the 13th, we're gonna have a nationally recognized First Nation storyteller at the History Center, whose name is Debbie Thomason, with seventh grade. The seventh grade graders in Harford County this year doing project learning around Native American experience. We'll have the winning projects from the different middle schools on display, so come out and see that if you like. June 27th, if you want to go down to Aberdeen, they're having a huge day-long 5K run, a Washington Rochambeau Revolutionary March, enactors, music, food. I mean, it's really going to be rather remarkable. That's the 27th. 4th of July, and if you're a 4th of July person, you got a lot to look forward to. Darlington's gonna have, all the parades are gonna be America 250 themed. Darlington's having a parade, Bel Air's having a parade, and tons of stuff starting at 6:45 all the way till their fireworks at 10 o'clock. You will have two things I want to mention. There's a national exhibit on the revolutionary experience put together by the Battle Trust, the National Battle Trust, and the DAR that we will have on display. We were selected to come here, so it was really great. It'll be at the Hayes House if you want to check it out, on July 4th. Hayes House is open in the morning. We are also at the History Center at the other end of Main Street. We are going to be, we have done a big fence project. You got an old ugly chain link fence behind our building. So we got a grant to do a beautiful art mural exhibit on 6 artists, 7 panels interpreting the Declaration of Independence. And we will be having that on display if you want to come and see the museum and see those beautiful pieces in the afternoon before the parade. We will also then have the Revolutionary Experience exhibit during the month of July at the History Center. Havre de Grace also doing a big parade. They will also have the Freedom Truck. I don't know if any of you heard that the Freedom Truck came to Bel Air.
Yeah.
If you missed it, right, it's coming back. It's going to be in Havre de Grace. And it's going to be in Havre de Grace the 8th and 9th of July. So there is a lot going on. You will not be bored. What you want to do is go to Hello Harford. You can either just www.helloharford.org or Google, Harford County. Their Hello Harford is the visitor center tourism stuff. The calendar's packed. Now let's say, and you can take one of these if you like QR codes. Let's say you want to go at your own pace. You don't like crowds, but you love history and you love Harford County and you want to learn more. So as part of America 250, the county launched what's called the Harford County Celebration Trail. This is something that has been in the works or people wanted to see happen for a long time. So this is, you have it on your phone. There's different places and sites you can go. It's interactive, you can check in, you can track your progress. For people that are techie or history lovers, this thing's around, and they launched it in celebration of 250. The other thing that I want to mention is keep in mind, keep your eyes open, because the county has also put together, and we were helping with that, a documentary about the history of the county, and that's going to be produced by Harford TV. There will be a premiere. It'll be on Harford Television. I heard today the final edits are done. So it's just about ready. So be able to look at that. I'm told it looks really nice too. So those are a bunch of things happening, and I was told to keep it brief. So does anybody have any questions? Or, yes.
I appreciate the historic education,
Yes.
but what can you guys do about expanding that celebration to somewhere like Edgewood and Joppatowne?
That's a really good question. So what we were doing with this America 250 committee, it was, we took like 3 or 4 people for each of these sectioned themes. The themes were history, service, civics, and tourism. And then different people, both county employees and also people that were very active in like different museums, were representing those categories, and then it was up to them to push information out to their people, which is what we've been doing to encourage, so that we weren't defining just exactly what was happening, but that people themselves could say, well, we want to have an art contest, well, we want to have some other kind of program, you know what I mean, to develop on their own. Veterans, you know, whatever the case may be, volunteer organizations. But the idea is that we wanted to empower people to acknowledge the anniversary how they wanted to acknowledge it, but also to give a lot of opportunities for these different things and programs I'm talking about. Also, that said too, Maryland, the state of Maryland, Maryland 250, they've been sort of seeing they're above us, and all the different counties in Maryland have these little committees or commissions or whatever, and then each of the committee or commission goes out and tries to get their county involved. But Maryland 250 has an incredible calendar of just all the things that are happening across the state. So if you want to move out, I know what you're saying in terms of your communities.
Ms. Chris, let me piggyback real fast.
Go ahead.
So the VFW in Edgewood, we're doing a celebration on Sunday. 2 steps down for you, you got Carmen, she's doing something. You want to speak on it real fast?
Yeah, well, we're doing stuff on June 13th as well. We're having a flag day, and we're honoring all first responders, active duty, and vets for our flag day. And then in the evening, in conjunction with 755 and Harford County government, we're doing a movie night on Independence Day, and all those things are free and open to the public. There's flyers in the back as well. But we also would like to get on one of these calendars so that it can be distributed more widely. To his point, we weren't aware that where we could send this information so it could go out, and hearing that, you know, we know there's a huge effort across the country to promote America 250, we would have loved to hear that, hey, and we have some things here that we wanted to promote broadly.
Good. So then
And
that
Hello Harford is involved in that. They sponsor that for that. Go ahead.
that's where you need to go. You go into Hello Harford, it'll say submit an event.
Okay.
They'll put it right on there, they'll tag it 250. So yeah, one of the things we've been trying to do is go around and tell people use that calendar, post on that calendar, and also post on Maryland 250. Those people are great, and they also want to help. Like, you know, if somebody's in Baltimore County and wants to come here, they can go to the Maryland 250 calendar and see that. Another question, yes.
This isn't really a question today, but Historical Society, for the nice displays that they put in the government building. When people go to pay their water bill, they can, or their taxes, they can come around the corner and see this really great display. I've seen quilting displays of historical quilts, being a quilter, and other historical uniforms of the military and all that kind of thing. And it's a beautiful display.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Yes, our textile department puts on quarterly displays, as was mentioned, at the admin building in Bel Air. And the county has been a great partner for that, you know, inviting us there and allowing us to do those pop-up displays. So yeah, I appreciate that very much. We love that feedback. Yes.
Yeah. Do you guys accept volunteers? And if someone wants volunteers, that's something you can do?
We rely on volunteers. Without volunteers, we would not exist. Because as a nonprofit, there are only 3 part-time people, everything else is run by our volunteers. Everything that is donated to us, we do not have money to purchase, but all of our artifacts, all of our archives are donated by Harford County residents and or people that have a connection to Harford County. All of those things are processed, cataloged, and preserved by volunteers. Volunteers run our events. Volunteers, all the people on this committee, apart from the county people that are also on it, are volunteers. So yes, please come volunteer with us. We would love, that is music to our ears, and we're very grateful for our volunteers. Yes.
How would one go about hunting for a particular artifact that may be in possession of the Historical Society? So, I'll give you a little backstory. I picked up a project from another community member that he tried 10 years ago. There's a 300-plus-year-old American sycamore in Mariner Point Park. Been working with Parks and Rec as well as the Lions Club to get properly preserved and identified so that people that attend the park can enjoy it and see it. Parks and Rec asked me if there was a historical photo of the tree. How would I go about, who would I want to talk to?
Okay.
Can I schedule an appointment, come in, and rifle through some photos with white gloves?
Absolute, great question. And we're good with the opening. Am I right?
I was at the opening of the Joppatowne.
Recognize you. This man was at our opening.
I brought you the
Yes.
annex binder.
Yes, thank you so much. All right, this is a great question. So if anybody, you're looking for a historical record. You're trying to find out something about your family. You think somebody was buried somewhere. You want to know if there's a picture of a tree in your park. No website, visit our website. It will be here on this little handout. It's just www.Harford History. Contact us, go in there and say, this is my question. That comes to us. As I mentioned, the place is run almost entirely by volunteers. So we read the question and we say, which of the volunteers knows is going to be able to help this person? Filter it to them, they get back in touch with you, because what we ask for all research is that you make an appointment, because we don't want to waste your time. We are open 10 to 4, Tuesday through Thursday, for you to come and enjoy yourself. But we have people that specialize in different parts of the history. So knowing you want a photograph, I would ask the photograph chair, who has literally a photographic memory. He would look it up and he would say, yes, sir, we do have that if you'd like to come in and see it. Or I checked for you, and I'm sorry we don't, but we suggest asking so. Our volunteers are really committed, really smart, and very cognizant of surveying our community, because we feel that the work we do is super important because it's community work, and that's what we're about. So anything you ever need to know, you can call us and someone will answer, but it's even more efficient to go online, put in your question, and we will send it right to the person who will help. Yes.
I just want to touch on that document that I donated, because it's basically Joppatowne's Declaration of Independence, so to speak. And in the early 60s, when Pan Company started to develop the area, they tore down some old buildings and they came across a couple of framed documents. And when I ran into them, they said, "Hey, Dion, councilman," and he said, "You made 1960." That's when they started it. And this document, by the way, is declaring Joppatowne as Joppatowne. It was written in 1782, and it's framed, and I donated to them. I hope that you're going to show that, but it's handwritten in 1782, and the document is about 1.5 feet wide and about 2 feet high, with that be, and it's signed and everything, and that document declared Joppatowne as Joppatowne. And of course, get the argument about the old E on the end and everything like it. Well, the original Joppatowne was Joppatowne, 2 words, no E. And you'll see it in this document that was generated in 1782. So I was proud to bring that in so they can display that. But when you go up there, look for that document, because it's only one of its kind.
Yes, ma'am.
I have a quick question to piggyback off what the gentleman was saying. Okay, when I understand you got everything going on through volunteers and stuff, and you mentioned the separation of the 250th committee. But coming back to the Juneteenth stuff,
Yeah.
when will Harford Historical pick up into that? Because I see that there is nothing going on. Harford County is not adding anything to the National Juneteenth quilt, and it's gonna be right next door in Cecil County for Juneteenth. And so we're like the only county that's not being represented on the national. And did we do a submission for the national 250th anniversary quilt? Because they're putting the panels on for the other counties on the Juneteenth quilt at Juneteenth over in Cecil County, but there's no panel for Harford County. And then what about our panel for the national 250th quilt?
Okay, so two-part question. So the one first, I can't speak to Juneteenth, what Juneteenth organizers are doing, but I can assure you that Hosanna School Museum it does an extraordinary. They're doing a full weekend this year. Every year they do that Juneteenth celebration.
Yeah, I've volunteered with them a couple of times.
Okay,
for
great.
that.
And Dr. Iris Barnes would be the person. Contact Hosanna School Museum, and they would be the ones prepared to answer what involvement they have with that or not, because I don't know.
Right, but there's nothing in terms of, okay, they're their own separate entity and museum and everything, but in terms of county-wide, county acknowledgement or the County Historical Society, like he said, he brought out, you know, we're doing other things and everything, but why does it seem that with things like that, we keep following or falling off from that point? And with tourism, right, the acknowledgement, the whole thing, would you have history of Buffalo Soldiers here? None of that is done. If we're preserving the history of Harford County, it should be everybody's history. Don't be cherry picking what you're gonna put government dollars into, who's history and who's not history. No, that's not right. And the gentleman was right when he brought that up and everything. Why is it separated up there and everything? Like I said, Dr. Barnes is incredible, but she can't bring everything from there to here.
So, to her point, what Ms. Chris said, give Ms. Chris the opportunity, but we gotta write in what we want. Write in what we want. Go ahead, Ms. Chris.
All I'll say is that we partnered with Hosanna School Museum on an exhibit on the African American history, a history of the African American experience in Harford County, Trials and Triumphs, traveling exhibit. Went around. This man can speak to it. He was there, and we took it around the county. That was last year, so we are closely affiliated and partnered with Hosanna. I think this is the thing. Send us recommendations. Let me know about these quilts and things like that. We love those kinds of suggestions coming to us. But they are an important partner of ours, as is the Alfred B. Hilton Foundation. And Alfred B. Hilton this year will be doing their fundraiser at our facility first Saturday in June. And if there is an interest to see, we will have on display some of those panels that were for the African American traveling exhibit. So we attempt to tell the whole history of the county with the different programs that we are doing and can do. So recommendations, we love. Yeah? Hey, one more, yeah. Last question.
On that topic, do you know if your organization has information on or helps to protect the McComas Institute on Singer Road, which I've heard that it was a part of the Underground Railroad. And I was just curious if there's an alumni associated with that institute, or if you have information.
I'm sure that we have information on the McComas Institute because of the significance of its history. But for those of you in particular that are interested in Underground Railroad history in Harford County, we were also recently a stop on an Underground Railroad history tour that was sponsored by Hosanna Museum. And Dr. Iris Barnes is the expert on Underground Railroad history in Harford County. And has done some really interesting research in that direction and continues to do that. And so we have in our sights the telling of that history, the telling of, we want to build our military collection and telling, with this new museum, we want to tell a lot of stories with a lot of different exhibits and a lot of different programs. The Joppa exhibit is an example of that, a long time coming. So join us, make recommendations, talk to us, because that's what we love. All right? Thank you.
Well, that's a lot of information, folks, so it really is a lot of things are gonna be happening and going on, so I hope everybody really gets involved. I know everybody's really, one of the topics we've really talked about is the Gunpowder River and the bridges and Amtrak and whatever, so we have someone here tonight that we hope will give us some answers. This is Sarah Kestner. Sarah, welcome. And it looks like we probably have every vote on the Joppa in Edgewood.
Good to see, good to see. I can't use this computer, correct, Steve?
You can, if you guys are gonna,
I just brought my laptop. Would you be able to show me how to connect to the projector?
I do not know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did you get my slideshow? Okay.
But that'll be shown on the live
okay,
stream.
Perfect.
Yeah.
But it can't be shown here on the projector?
We would have to have known in advance to get that set.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I just did, but it's okay.
We need the password to get onto their Wi-Fi.
Okay. And I can't just, link to their Wi-Fi, you said passwords needed?
I think that.
I mean, I have
Sheriff's office, you kidding me?
Yeah.
I can tell you the password.
That's okay, it's good.
Okay, yeah, I can connect that way, that's
We'll
fine.
give them a minute to see if we can log on.
Or you get it emailed to us too, right?
Yep.
We have tried to install 7 before Adam's not here.
Yeah.
The whole story about
Yeah, we can log into their password. Then I guess we'll.
I'm gonna pause for time.
Yeah, Cynthia. Well, while we're doing that, Cynthia, want to give your report while they're doing that?
He said flash drive or bring your
Good evening, I'm Cynthia, County Council. I'm here to tell you about the various public hearings that are scheduled, and there's also a description of the hearings themselves on the website as well. On tomorrow at the council meeting, there will be a 26007, which is about bond bills. It's because of the adjustments in costs for capital projects, they have to change the bonds. The next one is called bond authorization, which means that they can also borrow on or sell bonds to meet expenses. On June 8th, that's tomorrow. On June 8th, the Adequate Public Facilities Advisory Board meeting will be held at 6 o'clock upstairs in the second story of the council building. We have two public hearings on the same day on June 9th. The amendment to the service benefits for the fire, ambulance, and rescue. And the other thing which everybody's going to be happy to hear, the zoning of data centers to prohibit the use of data centers in any zoning district.
Thank you. Thank you, Cynthia. Okay. While we're waiting, just real quick, Melissa has an update from
755 Alliance. We all know we congratulate Bantan Miller for her role. I'm just gonna read off a few things. Okay, so June events. June 6th is the cleanup dumpster day at Brookside Drive. Volunteers are welcome. It is open to all community residents. June 7th, that Sunday is First Sunday Farmers Market. We have new hours, so we're there from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Also on June 7th, Post 17, American Legion Hall in Edgewood. We're doing a flag dedication. It is a community day from 12 to 3 p.m. Jesus. Also on June 7th, we have Edgewood Skateboard Park Block Party around the same time from 12 to 4. And then last but not least, Carmen will piggyback, but June 13th is First Harford Square flag dedication and family movie night. That is 7:55 and out.
Okay. Alright. Thank you for your patience, everybody. My name is Sarah Kestner, and I am the chair of our Gunpowder Waterways Advocacy Group. Can everybody see that okay?
Yeah.
This is a picture that I took just the other week going underneath our Gunpowder River Bridge. You can note how low that bridge looks like, and I was just in a little kayak, so I was right there down on the water. A little bit about our group. We are a conglomerate of volunteers, recently established in May of 2025. Collectively, we are Bush and Gunpowder River community members whose special interest is overseeing our Amtrak Bridge reconstruction projects. We are volunteering our oversight to help influence at current planning for community interest and environmental consideration. And our goal is to intercept Amtrak at impactful points, which is foreshadowing because we have a very impactful point coming up. A little bit about myself. August in 2024, I purchased my home in West Twin River, so that's on the Gunpowder River. I have a young baby, 3 months old at the time, but forever a Baltimore County resident. Crab and fish at the back river, and yeah, just I love it out there. In February 2025, I answered a call out who was seeking volunteers to represent the Gunpowder for the Amtrak project. That was from Lindsay Crone, who's the current director of Gunpowder Valley Conservancy. And together, we just wanted to reinforce the preservation of the existing structure. If it's an option, we would love to see it turned into a fishing spot, as well as overseeing the sediment handling to make sure that they protect the river, and obtain details on the new clearance for the proposals. So we all know that the bridges, both Bush and Gunpowder, are over a century-year old. So they're a little overdue on that rebuild. In May 2025, our virtual meetings began. This is open to the public on Google platforms, so if you're interested in joining us for the next month, more than welcome to. We've established a Google document. So again, we're all volunteers, all have different special skills and interests. We have Leah Tracy, who is a part of the Protect Perryman Peninsula group, incredible historian. Our Google document has a lot of information in there. And I'll show you just what a preview of our cover page. I'm not going to pull up the live document now, but you can kind of see how it's broken out. We'd like to keep everyone posted as the latest and greatest whereabouts on Amtrak, where they're at with their planning process. Our community statement, anytime we need to step in to advocate for our residents, we have a formulated statement ready to go for that. Important project details as far as the contracts, trails of email communication. Amtrak is a large industry, and they're not very as communicative as we have hoped, but we've been consistently applying pressure, so we are getting some responses here. Communication hub, these are lists of stakeholders, anyone that would be related or impacted by the projects, as well as Waterway and Bridge History Center. We've had maps, historical maps, anything of significance along the waterway history we've included that. And the reason why we've included all of these different components is because we know Amtrak should be looking at these components during their planning process. They're supposed to go through a NEPA phase, N-E-P-A. And what is NEPA? At the bottom here, it stands for National Environmental Policy Act, which requires all federal agencies to assess environmental, social, and economic effects to propose major activity before making decisions. That's what they're supposed to do, right?
Yeah, but they would give me all a little trouble.
Yes, just a little bit. Well, you know, you brought up a great point when we were even talking about the 250 history, the American celebration. Ultimately, if you have an interest or you feel like there's a gap anywhere, it is up to the public to voice those. And not just a social media post, it needs to be a direct email officially saying, you're missing this, I need to see this. So that just goes for any big project concern or anything that might feel a little over your head. There is power in community, and this is a great example of that. For both the Bush and Gunpowder River bridges, they are at the same timeline. They are at the same status, preliminary engineering, very broad. Amtrak says that they expect to complete the preliminary engineering and then NEPA phase 2028 and hopefully bring into construction 2030. Okay, so we know that they have plans in place, they're looking at different components, but what are they actually looking at? We want to make sure our voices are heard. And that leads me to this Amtrak survey that apparently went out, but not to everybody. So that was the first kind of red flag that I started to notice. Being a new resident on the Gunpowder, I didn't personally receive the survey, but my house isn't a waterfront property, so maybe that's why I didn't receive a survey. I'm 20 feet from the water, but I didn't receive a survey, so that was a little fishy. I also want to point out, this is just general FYI to everyone, do not rely on Google AI searching to give you pertinent information. As you can see here, I've included a snip of what I think my question was, when did Amtrak issue their public survey for Gunpowder River, for Bush River? And the answers were different. Interestingly, for the Gunpowder, it says that they had a deadline of January 31st, 2025, and after a low response rate, and I wonder why, the feedback window was later extended. I have a question for all of you. Did anyone receive a survey from Amtrak?
I think I actually have one in my car. I picked it up in my mailbox.
Okay.
Down here. It said it on it.
Do you guys happen to be waterfront owners? Do you have waterfront property?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Well, boats also exist in driveways. They also exist, you know, parking, marinas. So I have some trust issues with how Amtrak chose to poll the public, to be honest. I don't feel that they accurately polled the public in order to gauge the feedback that they needed. So that was a little fishy, I just want to point that out. For the Bush River, they do mention they did receive survey results, and then they mention the notice from the Coast Guard, which we'll get into momentarily. Continuing on my survey soapbox, Amtrak sent the same survey to both Bush and Gunpowder River residents. However, our concerns are, we're not sure who all received the survey. We're not sure the amount and nature of responses Amtrak collected. Ralph and Dion and the other gentleman, I'm sorry, do you recall Amtrak ever having a follow-up meeting discussing what their findings were?
No, I never even got a response that said that they got my survey.
No
so
acknowledgement.
It just went to a black hole.
Okay, that's what I was
Yeah.
suspecting also, very disappointing.
Now, I will say that I took my survey and made many, many copies and forwarded many, many emails to many people in our community who didn't have waterfront property and said, hey, you might wanna send something in, cause you have a vote that you put in every day.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
but if people didn't do that,
They had an online survey option, but that was not disseminated to the public. It was pretty much shared by word of mouth. Hey, we vote together. Hey, fill out the survey. But there's a whole population that's being missed there. Go ahead, Deanne.
I had the survey too, I filled that, sent it in, I had no response, but, you know, I just sent an email, extensive email out today. And
I
emailed
sure
all the
saw
senators
that.
and certain congressmen, and you got a copy of it too.
I did, and I appreciate that.
My displeasure with the 3-foot in Joppatowne, which is worthless.
Yes, so for as big as they were, I was quite disappointed with the lack of communication, or the quality of communication, let me say. They're communicating with me, but they're just not really telling me anything. Such as when I'm requesting specific data, they're
Is
not.
there anybody in particular that you are talking to at Amtrak? Is it a director, is it?
Project managers, director, government contracts, there's multiple titles, varying positions, but they're all not at liberty to disclose. They said, oh, okay, well, we don't typically answer these questions. Oh, send us a FOIA request, Freedom of Information Act, which we will pursue, but it's just a little disheartening that they're giving us the runaround saying, we've got everything under control, we're following the proper protocols, we're surveying the public, we're giving the public an opportunity for input, and I'll get to that in a little bit, what is deemed appropriate.
I'm
as
just
public
wondering, because
input.
I'd like to know if there is a name for us to reach out to see if somebody will have the courage to come to one of our meetings.
I did ask them, yes.
And what did they say?
So I actually invited the Coast Guard. Due to short notice, they could not, yes, thank you.
Hal Pitts,
Hal Pitts.
bridge manager.
I'll get the information from you and then see
You
if
got
we.
these back here.
Yep, I'll speak about this notice to mariners momentarily,
Okay.
but this gentleman had a question real quick. I'm sorry.
The guy just told me you're gonna answer my question.
let's
Oh,
get
okay.
done, let's get
Okay.
done.
Okay.
Questions at the end, cause we'll be here all night.
Okay, so continuing with the survey, we request and expect better engagement from Amtrak. The nature of the questions that were on the survey were, where are you located? What's your current vessel specs? What are the current dock mooring capabilities? What's the minimum height clearance required to pass beneath the bridge? And I have here exactly what Amtrak listed as options, which I thought was pretty funny. Less than 10 feet, 10 to 15, or greater than 15. And then there was an opportunity to list current physical constraints and operating seasons and holidays. Opportunity to list additional organizations or share information, which I like that question, but tell me that you're actually going to read these and use them. Amtrak Bridge scheduled bridge openings was listed on both Bush and Gunpowder River. Well, as we know, Gunpowder River Bridge never opened. As far as I was able to research, there was the drawbridge function built in, but shortly after the 1913 build, it was deactivated, sealed shut. There's no record of that ever being used. The gunpowder has been choked since its built. Conclusion on the survey, based on the survey questions and community feedback provided to us, it appears it only may have been sent out to waterfront property owners. The nature of the questions are based on current conditions and limitations. Gunpowder Bridge clearance has impeded access since its construction. Many boaters have been displaced, stranded, loss of business to marinas, as well as revenue to the community. We have a rich waterway history which deserves a voice and preservation. I knew that Amtrak's supposed to follow that NEPA process and investigate any significant history, but here's my concern. What do they deem as significant is going to be different than what we probably deem as significant, being that we live here. So I got my eagle eyes on that too. We obviously need additional polling to gain better understanding. And then we want to ask ourselves, if not for the bridge, I'd have a bigger boat. or I'd dream bigger, or I'd have a different set of gear on my ship or my vessel. I learned how to sail, or I'd own a waterfront business. All things that are stopped. We're not even given the chance to dream because of what Amtrak's already throwing on us. And this leads me to the recent U.S. Coast Guard notice to mariners. This was issued May 11th. I want to give major kudos to Mr. Dave Thomas from the Chesapeake Bay Yacht Club Association. He shared this alert right when it was published, and it gave the public 30 days to comment if they had any issues with the proposed clearance that Amtrak has. I've been in monthly, probably bi-weekly communication with Amtrak, and they never shared these details with me. They didn't tell me, we've already issued proposals to the Coast Guard, or we have enough plans to at least have an idea of what we want to propose. We were kind of just being passed along. Your opportunity will come, we'll let you guys know once we know, and then we get this notice from the Coast Guard. So obviously Amtrak does have a plan, at least enough to make a proposal. Highlighted in red is the Gunpowder proposal. You can see the vertical clearance is only going to increase by 3 feet, which is absolutely ridiculous. It does mention using the same horizontal clearance, which could be another hindrance. Mr. Ralph pointed out, very detailed in your email to the Coast Guard, about the shape of the pilings and the distance. So the Coast Guard is asking you all, if you have any concerns about this, submit your navigational concerns to them. And I have printed out copies of both the Bush River and the Gunpowder notice to mariners. That's in the back table. Feel free to pick yourself up a copy. Directions for either mailing them your concerns or emailing is right here. I was able to get the Coast Guard to grant us an extension. I asked for 30 days. They gave us 2 weeks, so I still am thankful for that. So now the due date to submit comment is June 25th. Now I took the Coast Guard notice and I went straight to Amtrak and I said, why are we being notified via this notice? And they said, Amtrak is required to issue a preliminary public notice to solicit comments. So they're saying this is your opportunity to let us know if we have it wrong. Without directly holding any type of meeting, they just go through the Coast Guard and have it come out this way. So if you have a complaint, this is the time to send it. This is what we need from the public.
1 second.
Sure.
Just to bring everybody's attention, if you're going to send one, I know that Hal puts things at the bottom. You got to send it to where that purple address is, just the way that is, that long address. You got to send it to that, and you can carbon copy Hal Pat's in at the same time.
Very nice.
Leave that open just a minute.
Yep. And we have physical copies in the back as well. Both notices have the same email addresses. It's just different specs on each.
Okay.
Okay, and then here's just another slide. If you want to take a picture of this, this is great too. I included the public notice numbers. If you even just Google the notice numbers, it should put you straight to the Coast Guard database, rather than having to filter through 1,000 different pages. They don't make it easy to find. But definitely, if you have any concerns, also, we were talking about lapse of communication, not identifying the proper who to poll. I'll use my dad as an example, not to throw him under the bus, but he doesn't have any social media whatsoever, but he's a voter. He just listens to the same news station and then goes to bed. So he's not online, he's not subscribed to any mailing lists. I don't even know if his friends are aware of this. So think about your neighbors, think of those who may miss out on this opportunity to comment, because it's very important. I hope we can find a way to make this better, to get important information, these crucial times of interception. Go ahead. Sorry.
I noticed there on the email, it says D5 Portsmouth Bridge. Why doesn't it say Gunpowder or Bush Bridge?
It's just
With I mean, I can understand them using this as some way of saying, oh, we never got any notices from you guys.
That's the office.
That's
the office.
Okay.
Yeah, their headquarters is located there.
Yeah.
It's just the headquarters. And it's actually the same email addresses for both bridges, so they all go to the same Coast Guard East District.
Does this include, people with houses on tributary waters where they can boat from, like, say, I live right across the street from Foster Branch. My neighbors over there have boats. Does that include them going into their own?
It would be anyone that would have any desire to pass through the bridge, whether they're a visitor, a resident, a neighbor. They could be from a different county traveling and they're still impeded.
Okay.
I've heard countless stories of people saying that they've been stranded for hours, where they've told me horror stories of, oh yeah, we made this trip one time, never again, never again. So you can see how this bridge design is totally just completely cutting us off. I'm sorry, the order of hands, Dion and then Ralph.
I just wanted to make sure everybody saw what we're talking about here. They're actually talking about raising the Bush River an additional 16 feet. Both bridges have 12 feet, about 12 feet clearance at meeting tide. They're talking about raising the Bush River an additional 16 feet, and they're talking about raising the Gunpowder 3 feet. 3 feet. I mean, we get tides here 4 to 5 feet any given day, twice a day, and that eliminates the 3 feet that they raised the bridge.
Well, I thought it was pretty interesting, I'll say, that they proposed the 15 feet, almost like they expected to receive that answer in their survey too, because 15 was all over the survey too. So I'm not sure where they're getting that number, to be honest, but go ahead, Rob.
15 feet's misleading. They're raising it 3 feet, so I'm raising it. That's what they're talking about.
Right.
I'm gonna stand up to say this because it's more of a public service announcement to me. Too many times we do our own selves a disservice by how we show up and don't show up. There were warehouses being built at the Perryman Peninsula. I don't live on the Perryman Peninsula. I ran a warehouse and I know what the capacity is in Harford County, and I know we were way under capacity. I showed up and spoke for the people of Perryman because it was the right thing to do. Those people, we didn't need to build warehouses because we didn't need them. And I showed up as a Joppatowne resident in support of those people. I heard someone say to me, I don't want a solar farm by my house on Joppa Road, but the people up here in Boston, they must have got it. If we think that building solar fields on farms are wrong, we as a community should show up and speak against that, together holding hands, because it's wrong. Not because it's not affecting me and it's not in my backyard. Okay? This bridge is affecting your community. It's affecting your house values. It's affecting the economic opportunities we have. It's affecting, someone said to me, well, what would be there? I said, well, there wouldn't be 2 apartment complexes. There wouldn't be a pool property that's out of business. There would be a functioning marina that has been sold since I've been here in the last 14 years. 3 different owners have been closed for 5 years. There's a marina on the Bird River that has boats laying on the bottom of the water because they couldn't survive as a business. The Bird River would look totally different. The dredging would look different. Everything would look different. And if you go out 100 years from when this bridge gets built, it will look worse than it does today if it doesn't change. And whether it affects you or not, what I'm saying to you as a community, stand up and speak for what's right. Why is the Bush River, which is a half a mile long, getting raised to 30 feet? Because its drawbridge still functions, and they have 3 marinas inside that bridge that have no economic issue today. We have a drawbridge that has never operated because they never fixed it when it got broken, and no one in the community showed up and complained. So for 100 years, our community has been shortchanged. Do not let it happen. Please tell everyone you know. Write a letter to this Coast Guard guy. If they get 600 letters, they will do something different. And when they come here to have a public meeting, show up and be respectful, show up and be polite, but show up and state what you believe is the right thing. And ask every one of these people who tell you tonight, I'm running for an office, I better know where you stand on this issue, and I better know you're working your butt off toward it. And I know a lot of them are. You don't have to say that. But if you're not for this, like, I need to know. But there ain't no way I'm checking your name on a box. I'm pretty honest about it. That's my public together, okay?
I think it's time.
Thank you, Tony.
Let's let her finish, and then we'll do the rest of the questions.
Hi, Sarah. Thank you for coming, and this was great information. I'm Councilwoman Robert, and to give a little bit of feedback, in February 2025, I was talking to Mark Fuller, who was the governmental affairs person at Amtrak. We had a meeting about May, myself, Raj, and the county executive with Amtrak. And they asked us about the bridge height, and I said, I'm also a voter. They asked about the bridge height, and I was like, it really needs to be high. We would like to have people who want the bigger boats to be able to get through. I started off at the Gunpowder, because I was at that marina, and now I'm over at Flying Point with the Bush. So I was kind of shocked based on the conversation we had of these numbers. Also, when they sent out the surveys, the initial surveys, I was the first one to ask because it came to my attention at one of the meetings that some people got them, some people didn't get them. So I reached out to Amtrak. I was like, can you do an extension? Send me the surveys. We're going to get it out. In which Councilman David Marks first saw it for the first time when I sent it to him. And so I know the communication is bad because this weekend I'm on my boat. I have a boater up to the right, boater left. We started talking. I said, you guys get that survey? What are you talking about, Nalana? And I was like, uh-oh. So there is a lot of people at our marinas that don't have any knowledge of even talking, writing to the Coast Guard. So I'm wondering, have you been able to reach out to all the marinas? And I'm gonna say this, like all the marinas pretty much, I've kind of taken from Rouse Point, like statewide, because our boaters are going. I'm going to Kent County. I'm going all over the place. We are running around, so we need to be able to have that. And I'll help you in any way possible because now the new contact is Denise Miller.
Right, which I've been speaking to.
And I do too. And they kind of get a little vague sometimes, and I'm kind of like, I want more answers. And I hear what you're saying. It's kind of like circular, like we're getting limited information because they don't want to reveal for whatever reason.
Well, just give me someone with the answers. Okay, here's someone else. They just give me the same answer, just relayed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm really trying to, I'm glad they gave the extension, but now we really need to get those surveys out to, like, that information for the Coast Guard out to everyone. I sent an email to my marina, but getting it to all of them, because I know you're having the thing on Thursday.
Yep, that leads
as
me
well,
to my
but I think
non-AI made flyer. So I made this right when the initial May 11th came out, but obviously we detected something fishy in the water. We wanted to establish a outreach meeting, so we have booked the Bush River Yacht Club for this Wednesday. To anyone that's interested in submitting a public comment to the Coast Guard, if you need any help with it, I'll be there to help you. You can speak to your neighbors between now and then and invite them there in case they need more information. Just think about your neighbors and trying to encourage them to submit the comment. I believe Flying Point, Otter Point are also included in that as well. But as far as the additional marinas outside of them, I don't know. I don't know how large our reach has been so far. I know that it's been circulating in multiple groups, but that is definitely a great point. I think yes.
So it seems like, this idea has been going on for a couple years. I know, like with the EPA, they've had a lot of rollbacks in terms of environmental protections. Are you worried about that related to this specific bridge project?
Obviously, yeah, it's definitely a, well, I don't envy Amtrak because they're juggling a lot of plates right now with the many changes. So I was giving them so much grace, but I don't appreciate the way that they've been responding to us. So we still have concerns with all facets of the oversight, the environmental, the history, preservation, or investigation, pretty much every element. So that's the reason why we felt the need to create this group, is to kind of, just as public residents, to kind of oversee and interject when we can.
And the Gunpowder River Keeper is involved with that team, so he's going to make sure that environmental is fine.
Good, yeah.
We can have our baby.
just answer this one real quick? Sorry.
In the slide before, you said it's if we're mailing, because I know a lot of people are gonna mail, is that postmarked by June 25th or at their office on June 25th? Those are two different dates.
They said through June 25th.
So, okay, at their office by June 25th, not postmarked, okay. Those are very
Great
that's-
question, thank you.
That's how they're gonna deal with it.
Yep.
I got a quick question, and I wanna hear Ralph's input on this too. It seems like from where I'm sitting, and I don't know what Councilman Robert's experience has been, it seems that they're giving this bridge project, like they're not respecting y'all at all or really communicating, whereas when it came to doing the tunnel project in the city, and that was more so collaborated with Amtrak and CSX. So is it possible that you can get some support or reach out to that group? Because that group of city residents, they had great impact and ability to input about, because of the incidents that happened in those tunnels and how it impacted them. It seems like from where I sit at, when I read some of it sometimes, that they're looking at, oh, well, we're just talking about raising bridges, and that they don't see it as the same type of critical thing to the lifeblood and the economics of the area as they did with those tunnels. Because it's harder, that was a much harder thing, whereas you're talking about the bridges are there in the air. And it seems like they're just being ornery about it, because anytime they can have engineering do bridges down there over Lake Pontchartrain and them down in Louisiana, that literally you're driving in a circle, they can take these bridges up. So what's the real issue where they're fighting y'all? It's just, I don't like the disrespect that they're giving y'all.
Okay, I hear you. So
Thank
here's
you
the
for
thing.
advocating for us.
Amtrak runs trains. They don't run waterways. The Coast Guard runs waterways, so it's two different organizations. Amtrak is gonna say, I'm gonna build a flat track and I'm gonna run trains, right? That's what their job is. That's what they're accountable to the federal government and to their constituents for. The Coast Guard is the one that should really be influencing what the navigable waterway height needs to be. And so they are caught, Amtrak is, it's not, I mean, I get it, they're not being responsive, I'm not saying it's good, but it is two organizations you're trying to get to bring together. And we thought we were doing all the right things. We thought we had all the right people involved, all the right emails, Chris Von Hollen, Andy Hare, we had everybody.
Right.
And then this came out, and I mean, I fell off my chair. I was like, how the heck did we get there? Okay, so we gotta go back, double back, and cross that bridge again, and we'll see where we get. And then at some point, they have to show up in a room and have a public hearing.
And that's
If
why-
it doesn't get fixed by then, I'm asking all of you, show up, put your torches in hand.
And that's why community engagement is so important.
No, it's fishing.
That's okay, one at a time, go ahead, Deanna, because we need to move along here.
Let me add one more thing. You gotta look at this whole picture, because there's a lot to this. This is just not the Gunpowder and Bush River Bridge being replaced. This is going from Baltimore to New York, and replacing every train bridge from that whole area. The total number, the cost of this entire project is about $2.2 trillion with a T, okay? The Gunpowder River is going to cost about $30 million. The Bush River is going to cost just short of $20 million. The bridge over the Susquehanna and Havre Grace, which is already under construction, that's $1.2 billion. And they got other bridges in Jersey and Earth, so it's a big, huge project. And of course, they got to do it all at the same time, because they can't shut down the other bridges. So all this stuff is going to be built like alongside of it, because it's impossible to shut down the trains that run from New York to Baltimore, for years at a time. Right. So it's a huge project, and we're part of it. And so we got to do our parts, like Ralph said. We got to get out. We got to get off. And I've been working with the two senators and Johnny O. He's part of it. Harris, we've talked to Harris also to try to get them, because they're the big numbers, those people can get the job done, because that's a lot of federal money in that project, and we've got to get them pushing Amtrak to get them bridges raised to a decent, and go flow.
Okay, we got one last question back here.
Yeah, just first, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Second, those who aren't aware, they're predicting sea level rise of 4 to 6 feet in the next century, which means the clearance will be lower.
And there'll be 4 tracks, just so everybody knows.
Go ahead.
Straight, separate.
Hey, Dion, has anybody got in contact with the current owners of the Joppatowne Marina to get them involved in
Yes,
this?
I talked to them yesterday.
They were involved in the first letter waves that you sent.
You got any report up to date, can you give us about that marina?
Alright, last question.
Okay, I understand the gentleman over here at the next table, I understand what he's saying, but as people, we relinquish our own power. Everything we deal with depends on the people. And I like her idea, you get with everybody that has home along the shoreline, everybody, all the way around, because the Bush River dumps over into the bay. Get all these people together and get some numbers, send Amtrak a petition of all these numbers. The people have the power, no matter, what they say. The people have the power, and we have congressmen here, vote them in. You're gonna find out where they stand at. Once you get these numbers, but get your people together first. That's everything that we do, either here or somewhere else, we're dealing with the people.
Thank you.
I just wanted to ask real quick, have you talked to any of the other, people that are having a bridge built in the States, like you mentioned, about like what is going on with their situation with the
So we're in collaboration with Bush River just because they're working in succession. Bush River hasn't had as severe of concerns as we have, just based on our bridge clearance being the lowest out of all of them. I will say, I'll just wrap everything up with this. The bridge is right on the Baltimore and Harford County line. I feel like this is the perfect project to bring all of our communities together and fighting as one people to build a bigger bridge for everybody. So just look at what we fought for the Ridgely's Reserve. We got that settlement. I thought that was awesome for those that helped out with, sticking it to D.R. Horton. I appreciated that. So. Thank you so much, everybody.
Alright, so we need to really stay informed about this, and as we get information, I'll get it to Gloria that we pass out to the whole community. I was lucky when my husband was alive, we were always on the Gunpowder, we always had a boat with Justice and Dan group, because we knew we couldn't get under the bridge or we had a fly bridge. So, yeah. So thank you so much, we truly appreciate it.
No problem.
And with that, Rob Wagner, you are up.
Turn on the lights.
Thank you.
So my report's gonna be boring after that.
Always is.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. A whole lot of the historical things have been already captured early on, and I appreciate you taking care of that for the Harford 250 and Maryland 250, because there were several things that I wanted to say to that, but I'll skip over. Harford County Executive Castley sets record level funding without raising taxes in FY 2027 budget. There's information back there on the table, multiple pieces of information coming out of the executive's office if you want to pick up something that interests you. One of the things back there is a compilation of accomplishments that the Southern County Task Force has done. If you were at the meeting at the Edgewood Rec Center on May 14th, you may have picked up one, and if you didn't, it's back on the back table for you to look at and see the things that we have accomplished in the Edgewood and Joppa area. The Edgewood Library and the Harford Square bus shelters are in process. The placement for 2 additional bus shelters are also in process. We've picked out 2 sites for that. The county executive met with area pastors on May the 12th, and we had a great conversation there, seeing what programs they were offering in and amongst their churches and trying to involve the youth and how the county could help them out to expand their program. So that talk is ongoing. The Lake Serene paths are going to bid this month. Joppa Farm Connector, I was asked about that the last meeting, the Fort Hoyle Road. That's going to be turned over when the developer turns it over, because the roads in there aren't finished yet. So it's a little premature to think that that's going to connect up anytime soon. I know I was asked because the barriers were there last time, so it won't be done. I think I was told, I think it was about almost a year out before it opens up. Pier 4 at Mariner Park has structural issues. That's why that work is still going on, because most of the work they have to do is in the water, and it's taken a little bit longer to do. Working on the scope of work for outside Harford Square Clubhouse, that's ongoing. We met with the Isaac Walton League, and we are starting that project. That's going to be a Parks and Rec project that's going to have trails. They've already got a preliminary plan devised for that, but it's going to supplement the school directly across the road on Willoughby Beach Road, where actually the children could walk there and be able to take the trails and go down to the water and experience some biology and things firsthand down there. It should be a really great asset once we get it finalized and done. So that's what I have for you tonight. Like I said, papers are back in the back. Pick up whatever interests you, and there's a lot there from the county executive's office as well. And I appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Thank you. What do you got?
I'm sorry, what? She left, we already covered her while we were waiting for Sarah.
Okay.
Okay, so, thank you, Rob.
Okay, thank you.
And what I'm gonna
Good
ask you,
job.
since it's 8 o'clock, if the rest of the people give their reports, we'll stick to the 10-minute time limit. We'll get out of here at a reasonable hour.
She said 10 minutes.
What's that?
I said if everybody will stick to 10 minutes after this.
Thank you, hi, everybody. Because this is the last meeting for till September, I got a plethora of information. Unfortunately, it got moved to the back table over there, but it's being blocked. But I'll help show you what we've got, and you can pick up what you need. Since we're getting into the summertime. Oh, let me start with my fire reports. First of all, there has been 6 fires in the county. One of them was Edgewood. The one on Anchorage Drive back on May 12th. Over $750,000 damage, and unfortunately they lost their puppy. And that, fortunately, the smoke alarms woke them up and alerted them to what was going on. It seemed to have spread very fast. Main reason, and you're going to ask why, because it's a lot of wood construction, and it's just going to happen. But it was taken care of in about 40 minutes. Had everything under control on that, and it was like about 8 o'clock at night. There is a burn ban on from June 1 to August 31st in Maryland. What that involves is mainly if you're like doing construction fires with a large backyard fire. Your little fire pits, things like that are okay at this point. Okay, just remember we're still way down as far as rain goes, and our waterways and our water supply is very low. Ground is very dry, even right after a rain. It just soaks right down, it keeps going. So just be mindful if it's windy out, be careful with that. Now, since this is a traveling season, next couple months, there's a couple brochures. One is Take Safety With You. And again, it's back there on the table. Talks about fire safety in places you're not familiar with. Hotels, motels, where there's a verba or, bed and breakfast, whatever. Talks about child safety and pool safety tips. And I can't mention enough about the pool safety tips. We have more problems between now and the end of August with children because they walk away just like that. Keep your eye on your kids. I mean, they can drown just a few inches of water. So, and we've had a couple happen the last few years. The other one is provide a safe home away from home. Again, fire safety, the kids, the child safety, and pool safety tips to protect, your children while you're there. First next month is July 4th. We got the big 250 celebration. There's a lot of fireworks out there. Right, for my neighborhood, I've already started celebrating at night. So, yeah, the people out there, I don't know where it is, but anyway, fireworks safety. And again, and on here, it's also got a little chart of how hot those little sparklers are that are legal in Maryland. Okay, but they get very, very hot. You just lay them down, things can catch fire, kids can burn their hands. I guarantee you, there's going to be at least one case in Maryland where somebody's going to get their fingers blown off playing with fireworks. Happens every single year.
Ron, wasn't there a lunch fire or some kind of huge incident that started because of sparklers about a year or so ago?
Yes, that's about a year and a half ago. Yes, it started because people were on the spark around, and the sparks. Kids like to play with them because most of the time you can't feel them. However, I forgot about that. However, they're still very hot. The sparklers remain hot for quite a long time after you think they burned out. Best thing to do is, like most people do, or like I tell you to do, is have a bucket of water, and a bucket of plastic. There's a reason for that, and you laugh, but it happens. It's the same thing with people taking their ashes from the fireplace and putting it in a plastic bucket and putting it out on a wooden deck. That's not safe. It happens. It's happened out here in Edgewood a couple of times last year. But anyway, yes, you're right. They are very hot. There's a big fire that was caused by sparklers a few years ago. I think it was. Another one was hot off the press from the Maryland Poison Control Center. This summer safety and poison. Again, kids can get into things. You got pools, your boats, whatever. Using chemicals they should normally don't have out all the time. Make sure the children are kept away from it, or make sure they're high enough where they can't get in. Again, there's all the information on there. Talks about bites, bug stings, and insect repellent. And if some of these, I put the exception of kids here, but I guess you've seen when they take the bug repellent and they light it, like a torch thing. It's funny. Until that fire goes back into the can explodes in your hand, and now you're burning over 90% of your body. Okay, so it's not a good thing, but it does happen. If you remember a couple months ago, I talked about these portable fire pits. These little ones that go on your table that they use ethanol fuels and stuff. The Maryland Fire Marshal has put in a bill to make them illegal in the state of Maryland because of all the fires they've caused, people that have gotten hurt from these things. And I've talked about it earlier. They're run by like a liquid fuel, but a lot of people overfill them. Kids get to them, they push them, they jump it, the table moves, it spills, and then it catches. So Maryland State Fire Marshal is going against that as far as making them outlawed in here. And just a quick note: remember, today is the first day of hurricane season. We hope that we're okay. This year, got quite a few named hurricanes, and I'm throwing them out there, but I was finding my brother's names on there. So when it comes up to the T's, look out. Other than that, those are the things that I had for today. The only one other thing was, and talk about this, about the Legion out on 75 on Sunday. They're doing a flagpole dedication, a new flagpole. The Girl Scouts there, Boy Scouts are there. They can talk, showing how to hold flag. Best of all, free hamburgers and free hot dogs. That's free food, and I guess we're going to have some snacks and stuff there. I missed the committee meeting, so I don't know exactly what we're going to have. But again, it's going to be out there at the American Legion on 7:55, right there on Sunday. It starts at noon because you got, remember earlier in the day you've got the what do you call it? Market, the market, thing like that. But that
farmers market.
Right, value market earlier in the day, and we're going to start about noon. It'll go to about 3:30, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions for me before we break for the summer? Or?
I just have one thing with the fireworks, that it's not only the kids that you gotta watch out for. You gotta take consideration for your neighbors, bring their dogs in.
That's another, you're right. Unfortunately, I had a dog that, not about it, there are a lot of dogs, and we read about it all the time, because when this happened, the fireworks start going off and the dogs start going crazy, they get out the door, they get out, because definitely think about your neighbors and their pets. And cats too, I mean, they go crazy, and, think about that when you're doing that.
Have a question? Hang on a minute, Rob. We have one right here and
Rob.
then you.
I wanted to thank him for finally coming out and fixing my alarm, and it turned out it wasn't a fire alarm, it was the,
CO alarm.
the, what do you call that, car alarm?
CO alarm that was
Chirping.
sitting in the closet where it wasn't
Yeah.
supposed to be, but that's what was going, seemed like it in there, I knew it wasn't the things.
And it was chirping, and I thought it was the one in the ceiling, and he installed it on the wall. And fixed
Yes,
it.
sir.
Yeah, so by asking this question, I know I'm admitting turning it into an old curmudgeon. But when I was a kid, fireworks were illegal. Like, you went to the fireworks, and that was it. Now, it's like everybody lights them off on the 4th of July, and I get that. That's cool. But they light them off for like 3 weeks in a row, like every night. Like, I did a bit early. Like, what is the law?
Okay, that's a sheriff's office, but I can tell you, it is against the law to have anything but ground-based fireworks. And I forgot the height offhand. There'll be a thing next month that I'll be going to with the fire marshal, do it every year. Tells you what is legal in Maryland. Basically, ground-based ones are good. Anything that goes up high in the air, like the ones like at the stadium or something like that, are illegal in the state of Maryland. Now, you say when I was a kid, a lot of that stuff, you got cherry bombs, you got the hammerheads, you were able to get all this stuff fireworks. Now they've outlawed it all.
Yeah, we shot at each other.
But we used to put them in tubes and shoot them. But that was way back then. But yeah, as far as the law, I would talk to the sheriff's office, or call the fire marshal's office. But most of that stuff they're setting up, I can tell you, is probably illegal, like firecrackers.
It's just not enforced, or?
You gotta catch them.
You gotta choose your.
And the sheriff's office is gonna tell you the same thing. And in my neighborhood, because I'm in a group of many townhomes, they set it off in the one area where everything echoes to the whole, through the whole place. So of course, you hear it. And if you hear them going off, you see them going off, call the sheriff's office, have them come out and investigate it. No, call your 911. Use it as an emergency call. I mean, I hate to say it, but you've got to do it because, and so they caught the guy that set out fireworks in the Walmart up in Cecil County last month, and you saw the damage to that store. It did over, I think it was over $100,000 just those firecrackers that he set off in that store. Of course, it was clothing, smoke, and everything else.
All right, we're keeping everything in 10 minutes, though, so give us a little more. Okay, no longer, you're up.
Thank you.
I will do 2 minutes, because everything's in my newsletter. Now, truthfully, everything is in the newsletter, everything I've done, this past month. We had a lot of graduations, but my favorite one is doing, the award ceremony at the Edgewood Baccalaureate. Those 32 youth got over $30 million in scholarships. Amazing. And I congratulated them. They're all going off to college. I don't know where all that money goes because I know college is expensive, but not that expensive. And I think the average was $825,000 per student, if they did the math on the average. So that was great. So a lot of graduations we went to. Had an adult drug court graduation, which is absolutely amazing to watch those individuals go through a rigored program. I worked in the courts. It is a program that if you fail, you go to jail. And so it is a process of really finding your recovery. So I applauded those. The judge who hears them is absolutely amazing and funny. I did go today to the Army Alliance lunch in which Sarah spoke today because she's on the Army Commission, and she really gave a lot of insight today about working together bipartisanly to get the job done. And it was great to hear the money that they are getting and trying to get for the Army. So that was also good. I have a meeting tomorrow with Lindsay Crone and Joe Seamack and Steve Overbay. we're trying to see what Harford County's environmental goals really are. They're doing a lot of that. Lindsay's doing that a lot with the Gunpowder Conservatory in Baltimore County. So she and I had a meeting a couple weeks ago, and we agreed that let's figure out what Harford County's is, because of the fact with Ridgely Reserve, and nothing's kind of, stagnant with that money until we got the money. But that was a hard fight for that. And still fighting with Days Cove as well. That we did get some sort of resolution after back and forth. And what I liked about Days Cove is when that lease is at the end of the day, it's supposed to close December 31st, 2029. If they don't close, they get a $5 million fine. So that was like cut and dry. That's what happens to them. The good part is when they start closing and we can get things moving, people have ideas about bringing back bird sanctuaries, being able to kayak again, and having it more of a recreational area for everyone. So that is the ultimate goal after we get it all cleaned up and everything like that. Other than that, we have a couple more council meetings. I'm sure they'll be interesting, to say the least. But I believe you have, I know I'm one of them, 7 council members for the banning of the data centers, as we all signed on to the amendments to make it go as emergency legislation. So that I do know will be happening on the 9th. Other than that, I am done. Any questions? See, I told you.
Who's got the sign-in sheet?
Right here.
Oh, okay. If you just pass it up, I'd appreciate it.
All right, sounds good. All right, good evening, everyone. So I'm gonna try to make up for lost time, so I'm gonna try to be super efficient here. So tomorrow, for anyone who's interested, the Public Service Commission is having their second evidentiary hearing scheduled for the Dorothy Avenue Solar Project, case number 9794 at 10 a.m. It is in person. So the thing with these evidentiary hearings is you can't necessarily go and ask to speak. You have to put in your commentary, and even they limit who can speak during these things. But if you've never been to one before and you're interested, they are really interesting. So it's tomorrow. This is our second evidentiary hearing at 10 a.m. It's at the William Donald Schaefer Tower in Baltimore, 620 Paul Street on the 19th floor. It's a hearing room, so you can just kind of go in, listen to the proceedings. They will document it on their website, probably within a day or so. But if anyone is interested in going and seeing what type of evidence is being put forward, it is fascinating. June 9th at 6 p.m. we have Bill 26-011, which is the zoning on the data centers, which as Councilwoman Robert explained, it is expected to be a unanimous pass to ban data centers in Harford County. With that being said, it is now time to move focus onto the state. So last Friday I had my first meeting with Senator J.B. Jennings, as well as the Office of the People's Counsel. The Office of the People's Counsel focuses primarily on people's protection against utility spikes and things like that. However, what we need to do is we need to focus not only on environmental, on health, on property rights, but the fact alone that data centers do require energy. And so the Office of the People's Counsel is who needs to be brought in when they're talking about digging a 17-mile natural gas line or connecting to these coincidental Brandon Shores mitigation power lines that we happen to also have going right through our area. So we're trying to loop as many people in as possible, but it is time to also bring in the focus on the state level. University of Maryland is bringing out their environmental study on data centers, which is due out in September. So we, as a community, just need to stay focused on multiple different factors that do affect communities for these type of centers. Because as we've seen with solar farms, the council can put forth our zoning regulations, but unfortunately the state can sometimes steamroll. And so we just need to make sure that our state representatives are also on board and listening and engaged and paying attention. With that being, switching gears, schools will be out on June 18th. The state of Maryland passed legislation that all schools need to be out before Juneteenth, which saved our kids probably about 3 days this year. But moving forward, all schools need to be out before Juneteenth. So the last day of school is right up until then, June 18th. And they will be going back the Monday before Labor Day. So as we all know, kids are going to be outdoors. They're going to maybe not have the best decision-making skills sometimes. Just be aware. You know, Captain McDougall was in here talking about, you know, making sure that you lock your cars, things like that. Abingdon had a significant spike in auto thefts and auto break-ins last summer. And it was a juvenile crime ring. And they were hitting cars that people had left their valuables on the front seat. People had been seeing things but didn't think it was enough information to report. So the crime ring went on for several weeks. So as they say, if you see something, say something. Even if you don't think it's anything of relevance, if your gut is telling you something looks funny, please report it. Some of these juveniles ended up going on high-speed chases, which did endanger their lives and the community's lives. And if we maybe had reported some concerns earlier, maybe it wouldn't have gotten to that point. Thankfully, no one was hurt, but there was a lot of property that was life-changing totaled for a lot of these people. So please just be aware. You know, kids are going to their brains aren't fully developed, so we just need to make sure that us as a community are paying attention and redirecting them as needed. And then just for all the boaters, it's obviously yacht club opening season. I come from bass boat people and kayak people, but my father-in-law married into yacht club people, and just listening to this conversation tonight, I never even considered my father-in-law being able to bring his boat up the Gunpowder. And so just knowing that that could be a possible option is just, I don't live on the water down here, but it affects me, and it affects my girls. So I agree, it's not just the people who live on the water, this is a water community. So just the concept of them actually being able to come up the Gunpowder is, I don't know, really cool. Any questions? Yeah, Brian.
On the public hearing on the 9th.
Yeah.
Is there the possibility that the council will vote on the 9th?
The council will be voting on the 9th.
So there won't be anything on the 16th?
So we will, we're meeting on the 16th, but we're voting on that bill on the 9th.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Sounds good.
I do appreciate you reaching out to the state reps, because I know I've reached out to lots of them, and a lot of times I get the response, go to your county council. And I've said, we have gone, and it's a county-wide issue, and we need your support.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that our county council is willing to also go to bat for us at the state level, because that is what we do as well.
Yeah, anytime. Any other questions? All right. Thank you, guys.
He's thrown like a $3
Right.
billion.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Delegate Johnson.
Hey, listen, I'm gonna take, I know it's late, so I'm only gonna take a couple minutes of your time. I just wanna highlight some things, that we did this year. So, and it, you know, I gotta talk about the money. So, Steve and I, District 34A, we brought back a total of $11 million back to the district. We also brought back $19 million to the college. Myself, last year, I gave out 81 scholarships. This year, I have a total of 120 students that reached out for scholarships. So I'm going to be giving out 120 scholarships this year. You haven't seen me a lot because I got a new position down there. So I'm the chair of unemployment. So if anybody has any unemployment issues, I'm the guy. I'm also the co-chair. I must be doing something well down there. I'm also the co-chair of business regs. They put me on the Military Installation Council. I'm on the Rural Council. I'm on the Rural Caucus. I'm on the Legislative Black Caucus. I'm on the Latino Caucus, and I'm also on the Transportation Caucus. So I wear a lot of hats on here. So this year I sponsored or co-sponsored 59 bills. I sponsored nine of those bills were my actual bills alone that I actually had to work. So that was anywhere from business regulations to consumer protections to public utilities. And then let me switch gears real quick. So I know there's a lot of talk about these data centers, right? I know that state, and I know the councilwoman said that it's a state issue, but it's a state issue that gives the county enabling legislation, like the young lady said back there. So it really is a local issue, and they did a wonderful job with putting the ban on things. For me, where I'm at with this is that data centers are probably in the future going to be essential, right? Because everybody has a cell phone, everyone has a tablet, everyone has all this AI stuff, and all that stuff runs through data centers. So my thought is that we need to actually study the issue before we even make any suggestions on data centers, because this is where I'm at. No backroom deals. No tax incentives for these large data centers, and you, the taxpayers, should not be paying for these data centers to be up and running, right? So, I mean, you're talking about I'm sorry.
Or cleaning up their messes.
Or cleaning up their mess. We're talking about environmental issues. We're talking about energy issues and all this stuff, right? So the bottom line is that we need to study this issue before we make any decisions statewide. But here in Harford County has already made that decision for us, right? So I'm happy that the county has made those decisions. And so I think with that being said, I think that's all. Ms. McFliggins, I know I love her to death, but she calls me constantly about housing issues. And housing issues, one thing about ECM is that ECM has housing now underneath of it. So I'm working closely with housing, and I'm going to try to make sure that within the county here, because we have some hot spots in the county here that are problem areas. I just got a call from Perrywood Gardens. People's ceilings are falling in. Village of Lakeview, rodents, things like that. So we're gonna delve into that issue really closely, and we're gonna make sure that we actually get some guardrails around these apartment complexes, because none of our citizens should be living in squalor like they are right now, right? So I want to make sure that we take care of them. Okay. And so with that being said, I thank you all so very much. This is a wonderful crowd here. I see all the candidates out here tonight, and I just want to ensure you all, the people, that Steve and I, for District 34A, for this area, for the Route 40 corridor, we are working our butts off for you all. So thank you all so very much. If you have any questions, I'm here.
Thank you, Andre. anybody here from Laura Erickson's office? Oh, okay.
Oh, I didn't see. I just want to say.
Oh boy, here we go.
I just want to say that this young man was my intern for the 24 session. Fabulous, fabulous young man right here. He's going to be a superstar one day.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Delegate Johnson. And for the record, my name is Donald Watson. I'm here on behalf of Delegate Aricon, District 7, of course. And Delegate Johnson kind of stole my thunder because there's not much to discuss on our end other than first, thank you all to those who have reached out to our office for any constituent issues or concerns. In the back, I've posted our end of session letters. They're in that box back there. So if you want to see the legislative initiatives, the bills that we fought, the bills that we passed and all that stuff, you can find that back there. Other than that, we have our contact information also in those boxes as well. And yeah, the delegate continues to fight against the data centers. She's looking into legislation for next session as well. And other than that, I'm happy to take any questions, but it's been a pleasure seeing you all this wonderful session.
You don't send out another newsletter this month?
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Okay.
We
didn't scare her off,
sending
did
them.
we? It was good to see her.
Okay, so
Anything else?
before we close and go through the council, I'm gonna do what we've done in the last 2 meetings, since this is primary session and we have a bunch of candidates here. And so we'll do this like we did last time. If you are running for office, I'm gonna ask you just to stand. We'll start on this side, just your name and what office you're running for. So we'll start on this side of the room.
Don't say that yet, though. Saying.
I will start with the back.
Hi, my name is Pamela Carter. I'm running for Democratic Central Committee.
Okay.
Keith Runk running for sheriff.
Danny Paez, Board of Ed, District A.
Okay. The candidates on this side of the room, watch the whole room stands.
Wait till September.
All right, we'll start in the back.
Yeah, I've got 3.
No, hang on a minute.
It's on the shirt.
Hang on,
Oh,
back,
sorry,
back.
somebody behind me. Sorry.
Phil Tannick, Democratic Central Committee.
Just voted for you today. Got my ballot.
Okay.
See, I got 3.
We didn't get to hear. We can't hear.
Good evening, folks. My name is Terrence Rogers. I'm running for sheriff. Thank you.
Okay.
Nice to meet you.
Nolanda Robert, County Council.
Jeff Beck, County Council District A.
Elliot Herniker, District 34A, House Bill. Noah Gentry, Democratic Central Committee.
Allison Imhoff, County Council District 8.
Matthew Brown, County Executive.
Candace Hart, House of Delegates, District 7B. Alicia Hopkins, Democratic Central Committee.
Lane Miller running for Maryland State Senate 34.
All right, and we have something to the right.
Delegate Johnson, District 34A.
Hang on 1 second.
All right, guys, this is from Ryan Kavinsky. If you know him, he is on County Transit Lane. It's quick. It is just Harford County Transit Lanes early vote in June 11 through 18, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Fridays only. The Big Falls Center, Edgewood Rec Center, Heavy Gray Center. You have transportation that goes to and from there for early voting. That covered it. All right.
Okay, go ahead.
Just a quick plug one more time for June 13th. There's so many things said before, but we're having 2 events at First Harvard Square celebrates America 250. We partner with 755 Alliance in the county again. If you fire, I have many, there's some back there, but I have some more. But more importantly, if you have someone that you want us to honor, specifically a veteran or a active duty service person or first responder, we have 911 operators, we have EMS folks, we have people who they are our first call when we're in trouble. We want to honor them. We do have guest speakers, there's food and all kinds of things. For the all of these events are free, and they're open to the public, but if you do have someone you wanted to honor, please contact me. You can contact me afterwards. There's other ways to contact as well. Information's on the flyers. But also another plug for 755 and our partner. We're hosting the family night. We're doing Independence Day in honor of 250. Again, we have plenty of food and things. We want all the families to come out, grab does, come and celebrate with us. Thank you.
Jim, do you have anything you wanna?
No, nothing. I'm gonna throw this out. If you all have seen the ads on TV for the Life Act, it's just something in your own house. Because if you're really choking, none of us are gonna get there fast enough to save you. It's just something to consider, that's all.
Thank you. Jansen? All right, so a couple of things. First of all, I'd like to thank the gentleman that is live streaming for us tonight. I was gonna say, I was on a long, waiting vacation and deserved, and we appreciate the fact these strangers do that, so I want to thank you so much.
I need somebody strong.
Thank you, everybody, for coming out. This was a great meeting, and as a reminder, we don't meet during the summer, but in September, remember, it will be the second Monday, because the first Monday is always Labor Day. So, when you don't get an agenda the first Monday, you don't say, oh, what happened to the calendar? They go, well, it's still here. And second Monday, everybody have a safe summer. Enjoy yourself. I'm sure I'll run into some of you on Rumsey Island, so stay safe.
All right, so many of you know I'm open my own holistic health office in Edgewood. So if you need anything, stop by 2809 Gillespie Highway CF in the 10 Title Building. Come see me. Thank you.
I'm good.